Hello out there, it is another interesting episode of your favorite program, Purges and Event on TV, your weekly tonic where we give you news in the maritime industry, aviation sector as well as the land border. On today's episode of Purges and Event on TV, Standard Organization of Nigeria does not have the power to regulate the importation of used vehicles. Dispute resolution in the maritime industry, the need to embrace alternative dispute resolution. The Association of Nigerian Licensed Customs Agents, ANACA, eventually paid insurance premium to its deceased. And on our event segment today, the sister of the coordinator of the Western Zone of ANACA, the Association of Nigerian Licensed Customs Agents, Prince Ozo Chukura, wedded during the week. This and many more will come your way. My name is Afrain Tokadi Collins. Stay tuned. Many Nigerian importers have been complaining as to why they always have loss of cargoes or cargo damage eventually when their cargoes are released at the seaport. Most of the cargoes which are shipped in good condition from overseas, when they eventually get to their consignees' warehouses, are either damaged or they have loss on their cargoes. Hence, Nigerian importers have been complaining on the losses of their cargoes. I'm sure this is why the Nigerian Shippers Council, in collaboration with the Cargo Defense Fund, organized a one-day seminar on cargo exposure to risk of damage, loss, and delay in our seaport. Why is it that we always have loss of cargo? Why do we have breaches of container? Eventually, when an importer who was shipping his consignment in good conditions abroad, containerizing them when it gets to the final consumer, this same cargo are either damaged or are tampered with. Nigerian Shippers Council, in collaboration with the Cargo Defense Fund, is trying to look at what are the reasons for this and what is the solution. Speaking during the occasion at the Rockview Hotel, which was held recently, was Madam Julie Ogboru, who is a member of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce.
For instance, when you want to perform examination, the container is brought down and you discover it's broached. And on the end of it, broach and the key broken and something like that. On the end tail of it, when you deliver the container to the importer, it looks as if the shipping company charges goes to the import, while loading and offloading is not done by the importer or the freight forwarder. What happened then? Why should the charges go to the transporter, to the importer, not the shipping company and the concessionaire who handles this thing? Thank you.
I'm a member of NAC. A lot of importers like to go and under the bridge and get people to keep them drunk. And they know that those ports are not insured. The transporter is not even a transporter. It's a commission agent. So please, they are organized transport systems that you can be able to do your business with them. Go to national. They will advise you. But you don't tell me, say you see man under the bridge and you give you goods worth 10 million to 100 million, and when there is any damage, you accuse him to pay. While at the end of the day, maybe his commission is maybe 100,000 out of that 10 million or 100 million.
If a terminal operator takes ownership of that responsibility, he doesn't have to wait for the surveyor to come. He invites the surveyor. And the issue of success or access to the terminal is no longer tenable. The surveyor has an open access, because all the terminal operator will be discussing with the surveyor is the level of damage. This is the point of the damage. Do you think it is an early damage or a later damage? What is the gravity of the damage? How do we actually assess the damage and apportion blame? That should be done collectively. In Nigeria, no terminal operator will invite a surveyor to come into his terminal to assess any damage. It has to be done by coercion. I had to step in on certain occasions to actually speak to terminal operators to say, look, you are here doing business and you are servicing the same trade. If this trade is damaged, you will have no terminals to maintain and operate.
Oh yes, this is Stars Maritime Academy, our foremost private maritime institute running courses in marine engineering, marine electrical, nautical science, as well as shipping management. Our auxiliary courses are workshop technology for 3 months, mandatory course for 1 to 2 months, ship familiarization for 3 months, as well as sea training for 3 months. At Stars Maritime Academy, we groom future professionals in maritime operations with our mechanical workshop, electronics workshop, welding and fabrication workshop, updated library, computer room, sick bay, conference hall, chat room, spacious parade ground, as well as serene environment on over 7 acres of land. Admission is on now into Voyage 1, Voyage 2 and 3, as well as Voyage 4. For further inquiries, contact the registrar, Stars Maritime Academy, along Ayobo Ota Road, Itilogun State. Telephone 005-621-2451, 006-150-9740, or 01730-0463, or 01891-3549. You can visit our website on www.starsmaritime.com or email us on info@starsmaritime.com. Stars Maritime Academy, a rising star in maritime professionalism.
That was Madam Julie Ogboro, a member of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and a representative of NATO. Speaking during the occasion was also Mrs. Shaloma, who is representing Nigerian Shippers Council, saying there is need for Nigerian importers and every terminal operator to collaborate so that the issue of cargo damage and cargo loss will be addressed. Otumba Keyo Falani, the chairman of Port Consultative Quorum, also laid a voice to the issue of cargo damage and loss of cargo in our seaport.
Mandatory in the sense that there's a provision and it's compulsory that the marine insurance cover established in Nigeria. Yes. So what I'm trying to say here is we have to look at the structure of the carriage of the goods itself. We have to look at the structure of the supply of the goods itself. Then we look at the clauses we are talking about. In certain cases, there are up to 20 clauses of the bill of lading. So the claim is based on arrival. Particularly in the sense that most of the trades are in the most of containers. Most clauses said to contain no responsibility to the ship owner. Most bills of lading are clause no claims to be entertained, because there is a lot of difficulty noted on the Port of Lagos. So what I'm trying to say here, we should give attention to the clauses. Nigerian trade is a preponderance of clauses, either from the shipper, also the ship owner, also the terminal operators. So we have to address that issue very sufficiently.
Yeah, from Purchase and Event on TV, we want to highlight the fact that Nigerian importers need to insure their cargoes. There is need for us to lay emphasis on insuring cargo. There are, however, different types of insurance. Some of the insurance expires at the key apron, while some insurance expires at the warehouses of the consignee. If emphasis are laid on insurance, the issue of cargo loss and cargo damage will be addressed, and it will be a thing of the past. Purchase and Event on TV, we look at Incoterms, what are Incoterms, and what are the advantages of Incoterms on Nigerian importer in the next edition of Purchase and Event on TV. That is next week. Recently, we told you that the Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, is threatening to regulate the importation of used vehicles into Nigeria. We have spoken to stakeholders in the maritime industry as to whether SON has the statutory power to regulate the importation of used vehicles into a country. You all know that the functions of Standard Organization is to regulate importation of new items, ensuring that it complies with the standard of production and the standard of usage in every country. We spoke to Mr. Lucky Izamiwero and Chief Eugene Iweko, who are president of association, and these are their views.
Vehicles in general and and this age are controlled based on policies of government. On the basis of the age rebate, and the wear and tear of the car, which have to do with the audio, metal, and all of that. So you don't regulate car, you control car. So the issue of regulation, I think the best thing to do is to go to the Ministry of Finance, who will now look at the auction and control the cars through the principle, because there are 6 principles of controlling cars. 1 have to do with the age of the car, 2 have to do with the capacity of the car, 3 have to do with the wear and tear of the car. Then all these things have to do with policies of government. It is not a regulatory product. Vehicle is a control product. They control it. And all the control measures, you go to the Customs and Excise legal notice 30, where the principles are applied.
And I believe that it not just stop at looking at the used vehicles. We also want to believe that some of the vehicles are new, are substandard. Some of them are coming from China. When we look back to history, we recall that Japan at the time, which you can see this franchise is Toyota, some other company in China, and what we have today is substandard. So I want to believe that talking about the creating vehicles that comes into the country to be more impressive, to be more encompassing, not just limited to used vehicles. How do they create a used item? How do you ensure it has been used? So how do you regulate it? Are you trying to say, okay, look at the standard of the ones that are looking at mileage? It all depends on the approach which you want to adopt in the creating a used vehicle and a new vehicle. But I think what should be paramount to us is for the federal government either to its efforts to look at how to bring down cost of new vehicles so that people in Nigeria can acquire and purchase vehicles, not necessarily reverting to used ones. I think this is the angle we should take it. So, and if that should be the case, then the idea of issuing policy or pursuing policy without any cost to what are impediment on ground. And impediment is this: when you have not actually bring the cost of, or looking at the cost of living. If the cost of living is too hard for Nigerians to listen that they cannot afford to acquire a new vehicle, then the result is a result to buying second-handed ones. Why must we be notable for second-hand vehicles? Let's take that our standard organization now want to regulate these vehicles or the influence of these vehicles in Nigeria. No. The law should look at the lawmakers and the policy executive should look at it from the angle of empowerment.
The Maritime Arbitrators Association of Nigeria, in collaboration with Nigerian Shippers Council, recently had its 5th Maritime Practical Dispute Resolution, which was tagged Dispute Resolution in the Seaport, an Agenda for Economic Growth, which was held at 4 Points Hotel at Sheraton, where the Controller General of Customs was ably represented by the Controller in charge of PTM Port, Controller Tajuddin Olarewaju.
Of course, introduction, dispute resolution. In Nigerian Customs Service, we take this to be key. The question is that how functional it is, but this is a key process to enable trade facilitation and promote economic growth in Nigeria. Because the more cargo leaves the ports on time, the more revenue to the Nigerian government, and will lead to economic growth.
Many stakeholders actually deliver paper on the issue of dispute resolution in the maritime industry, amongst which are forwarder Sir Mike Juke, the Registrar and Chief Executive of Council for the Regulation of Freight Forwarding Practice in Nigeria. Also, a representative of NIMASA delivered a paper. The National President of Maritime Arbitrators Association of Nigeria, who happens to be a chartered arbitrator, Chief Bola Akinola, believes that alternative dispute resolution needs to be inculcated into our dispute resolution mechanism in the maritime industry.
Get a buy-in with the authorities of customs that come. This is a mechanism. You see, the same reason why people go to traditional chiefs, the kings, the obas, the obis, the emirs, because arbitration has always been traditional. It's always been there. What the process of arbitration, the way we call it now, what it does is it now clothes it with legality, because there is a document that drives it, the parties subscribe to it. In times past, issues come up, you go to the village elder and you report somebody, because the reason why you do that is because the village elder is highly respected, and his views, when he utters them, people are likely not to contest it. So in arbitration, you have formalized beyond, it goes beyond somebody just looking at, I don't like it, so this one should win, that one. There is a reasoning process, which is what this training program, this seminar is about. You know that you put logic plus facts plus little application of law. You know, it's more commonsensical than anything else, and you seek and land justice on people's behalf. Now, what we are saying in effect is this. Yes, you are using your retired officer. The truth is, if the other party does not have confidence in that retired officer, they're not going to make any success out of it. But if you make it institutional, there is a body called Maritime Arbitration Association of Nigeria. Part of your functions borders with admiralty matters, because you do land matters, you man the borders, you do, but at least anything that borders on maritime, you tell the other party, come, this dispute that has come up, would you like to go to arbitration? You can have it in form of a submission, we can draft it for you. If the other party says yes, you come to man who sort it out. If the other party says no, you can't compel it. It goes to court or uses any other means. You know, but what we are saying is that for you to even buy in and sell the idea to customs, so that you can start thinking in that direction. Nobody can compel it. It's something that both parties must subscribe to.
The world has indeed become a commercial global village. Nigeria, the West Coast and South Africa have become every shipper's destinations of delight. To meet this growing need, we present the CFAX Group of Companies, a maritime one-stop shop with subsidiaries on the West Coast, London and Texas, USA. With our well-trained and courteous staff, high-tech cranes, stevedoring services, haulage trucks with mileage across Nigeria and abroad, and our utility bonded terminals, we are indeed Nigeria's leading cargo handlers. CFAX Group of Companies, our team work with innovation.
The Association of Nigerian Licensed Customs Agents, ANACA, has eventually paid its premium to its deceased. Among the beneficiaries is the wife of late Dominic Udegbe. Dominic Udegbe was the late secretary of the ANACA chapter at Tinkan Island, and the wife of another deceased who happened to be a member of the Muritala Mohammed International Airport. Speaking during the occasion was the national president of ANACA, Prince Olayiwola Shitu.
Predicated on welfare from the beginning. By now we should be picking up bills of medical expenses of our members. But those same fathers don't want such a thing to happen. They assume that anything that can be generated must just be distributed to them, and they live on free will. We are going to start with the election of the Chairman Board of Trustees and its members. The mistake of the past will not be done again. If you are not a committed member of this association, you cannot be on our board. In fact, we need board members that will do for the association, not to take away from the association. And if that is the last assignment I'm going to do, I must make sure that the election of the Board of Trustees produce men of timber and caliber that can come to our aid in times of need, that can put hands in their pocket and give to the association, not to take away from the association.
Lónìí kò ní dọ́là, lónìí kò ní dọ́là, lónìí ṣe 70-80.
And on our event segment today, the coordinator of the Western Zone of Anaka, Prince Ozo Chukura, recently gave his sister, the only sister in the family, out as a bride. And who is that lucky groom? He is no any other person than Oyinbo Meze Wanze. That means the former Miss Obianju Chukura is now married to Mr. Oyinbo Meze Wanze.
Oh yes, this is Stars Maritime Academy, our foremost private maritime institute running courses in marine engineering, marine electrical, nautical science, as well as shipping management. Our auxiliary courses are workshop technology for 3 months, mandatory course for 1 to 2 months, ship familiarization for 3 months, as well as sea training for 3 months. At Stars Maritime Academy, we groom future professionals in maritime operations with our mechanical workshop, electronics workshop, welding and fabrication workshop, updated library, computer room, sick bay, conference hall, chat room, spacious parade ground, as well as serene environment on over 7 acres of land. Admission is on now into Voyage 1, Voyage 2 and 3, as well as Voyage 4. For further inquiries, contact the registrar, Stars Maritime Academy, along Ayobo Ota Road, Itilogun State. Telephone 005-621-2451, 006-150-9740, or 01730-0463, or 01891-3549. You can visit our website on www.starsmaritime.com or email us on info@starsmaritime.com. Stars Maritime Academy, a rising star in maritime professionalism.
Last week we did promise to give you the concluding story of the issue of allegation of seduction which was leveled against Chief Superintendent of Custom Badisha, who is a serving Nigerian Customs Service personnel in Tinkan Island Port, by one Sister Catherine Elias. Unfortunately, the said issue has been transferred to headquarters, and we put a call to the National Publicity Officer of Nigerian Customs Service. He promised to intimate Podges and Event on TV on the outcome of the investigation. However, you need to know that there are a lot of revelations and discovery in this story. When this issue is eventually laid off, we promise to let our viewers know what actually happened to the allegation of seduction which was laid against this examining custom officer. And this is how far we can go on today's episode of Port Gist and Event on TV. Until next week, when we give you another fresh gist as it come our way. Don't forget that you can reach us on our email addresses, portgisandeventontv@yahoo.com or collins_foreign@yahoo.com. You can also watch our previous episodes on YouTube. Just click on Port Gist and Event on TV. Until next week, bye bye.